Welcome back to the PHLY Eagles podcast. Bo Wolf joined now 1 day later by Fletcher Cox after last night's big win over the Kansas City Chiefs. You took the plane back. You got, like 2 hours of sleep, and you're here with us today. What a roller coaster for you.
A few hours of sleep, yeah. I think I rode in the house at about 5:30. But when you're, committed to things, you got to kind of sacrifice a little sleep. And, it was really special to be a part of this. So got a couple hours of sleep, and I'm here now. I'm happy to be here. So what's going on with you?
Not too much. I mean, yeah, I like to think I'm a dedicated employee, but you're showing me up a little bit here, so I appreciate that. Let's talk a little bit about halftime, because you guys are down 17-7. There's this perception, I think, from the outside that halftime adjustments are like everybody's in a big circle for 15 minutes and talking through what can we do differently. When I think the reality is it's much more of a frenzied time. You guys obviously did improve in the second half, no points allowed, but I know that you sort of spoke up at halftime. What was that like? What did you say?
Well, I mean, just halftime, you don't have a lot of time. Honestly, most guys got time to use the bathroom and
change your cleats or anything. It's like
you really don't have a lot of time to do a whole lot. I mean, unless you just run in and kind of knock a few things out before we get together as a group. But I think the biggest thing was, is we knew we were. We knew we had gave up, some 10 points in, a short amount of time, and we kind of knew where we need to stand. It was at halftime after we went over everything with the coaches and knew that problems we had to fix. It was I broke the team down at halftime, and I told them,
"What'd you say?"
I'm a real dude, and I tell them it's gut wrench time. Just check your gut right now, because we put ourselves in this hole. Let's see if we can dig out. Let's find out who we are as a team when we're down. At half, and everything isn't always, sunshine, and so it's part of being in the league, and I think the guys did a really good job of responding.
Is that the mechanics of that? Are you do you tell coach I got something to say? Is it everybody's looking to you anyway? How does that work?
At a time like that, you need a guy with a C on his jersey. Honestly, you need a guy that's been around, that's been around and been in dog fights like that against really good teams on the road, right? I felt at the time my voice was needed. And the team responded, and that's the things that you want. That's the stuff that Howie and Sirianni is building in that building, in the organization. So obviously everybody responded, and the most important part about it is nobody flinched, and that's what you want from a really good ball team.
Is that for you? And you talked about it. It's like this culture that has been here for a long time, right? It's part of the reason that you and Jason and Lane and BG are all still here, right, to carry on that foundation. Is there a part of you that's you guys are already 8-1 at this point. This is a good team, but is there a part of you that's sort of curious about some of the new guys? You want to see how they respond to this kind of adversity?
Even the older guys, you want to see how they respond, because my biggest deal is, and I live by this so much, and I tell any coach, the calmer you stay, the calmer we stay. And that's true to believe. If we had guys like myself and BG and Slay and Lane, Jalen, AJ, and Smitty, any of those guys, if anybody would have been in that locker room at halftime, snapping, going off, yelling, well, that don't help the young guys. But everybody was calm about it, because the calmer we stay, the calmer they stay, and that's really a big thing that I live by.
It's so interesting in contrast to Sirianni being not calm on the sidelines, in the middle of the game, yapping and celebrating and stuff. I imagine in the locker room he is calm.
Absolutely, because he's a head coach that everybody loves to play for. We all love playing for him. He's a player's coach. We have fun with him. We know how serious this game is to him, and how bad he want to win. And that's why we always have his back. No matter how excited he get on the sideline. I even celebrate with him a lot on the sideline. 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, when I know we're running the, Snoopy, as everybody knows. So it's one of those deals.
Now, in terms of what actually changed at halftime, first half they run for over 120 yards. We have not seen you guys get run on like that pretty much all season long. I think it was 6 yards per carry in the first half, 4.7 yards per carry in the second half. You sort of tighten things up a little bit. Did anything change mechanically up front? What
nothing changed. I don't think nothing changed. I think that coming off the bye, you really haven't put the hard plastic on anyone in some time, and and that kind of shows up. And after a bye, not doing a whole lot of hitting, but that's something that we know that we can be a lot better at. we know as a defense, teams don't run the ball on us. We got to get that identity back. And I think that everybody will open their eyes, notice it, and we'll get after it.
Now, in terms of just like the difficulty of this game, going to Kansas City, playing against Patrick Mahomes, playing against Andy Reid coming off a bye, like that's as difficult as a scheduled game gets. Like, what makes you the most proud about this win?
The crazy part about that is both teams was coming off a bye.
Right.
So nobody played last week. Whatever was already in rhythm, everybody kind of had to find that rhythm. And coming off a bye, it's one of those things when you don't play, it's kind of hard to find that rhythm. It's a process, right? It's one of them things where you got to get that game time win back, that conditioning back. You can do all you want at practice, but those game time situations, it can affect you. And in a couple plays yesterday, I was like, man, like had this been 2 weeks ago, I would have made that play because I was running 2 weeks in a row. But it's just one of those things that you got to kind of be a pro about it and move on from it.
You again played a ton of snaps. I think 73% of the snaps. So I guess you did show that you still have that conditioning. What's so difficult about getting Patrick Mahomes down? You guys Reddick had the sack on the first drive of the game. You don't get him again. Now the sweat thing we'll get to at the end because I believe that those should be sacks. I'm pretty sure you probably agree.
Absolutely, yes.
But what is so slippery about him?
It's a couple of things. You
almost shot him on the sideline there. I know.
I should have had him yesterday, maybe twice. But it was one of those things, it kind of went back to, me trying to make a smart move on a quarterback, thinking he was going to respect it and step out of bounds. But also, knowing that, he's very elusive quarterback and, can make a move. So at the end of the day, I got to get him on the ground and we get off and we get a chance to line up again and make him play. But he made a play. That's why he get paid, a lot of big bucks and got a lot of respect for the kid.
I mean, he gets paid about as much as anybody.
Correct. That's right.
The intentional grounding, I think it's like it's adjudicated the same way. It's the same thing. The ball goes there, you lose it down. It should just sort of be a sack. I think I made this point on the post-game show last night. I think when quarterbacks are intentionally grounding there, defensive linemen, you've got like incentives for sacks. They're going to get paid off sacks. I think it's anti-labor. I think the quarterback, it's like, why are you doing this to your fellow union members? I
think that that rule should be changed. Any kind of intentional grounding, I think it should record as a sack. And it's one of those things where you got lost it down, whatever. But at the end of the day, the guy that's getting there got to be rewarded for causing the havoc. And I think Josh did a really good job at getting there. And I wish it was a sack for Sweaty J.
And another one where the game on the line, we talked about it last time you were in. You guys make a play.
Yeah. It's just again, it is one of those things, and it's I'm not a rule maker, so we just kind of play the next down and just put them in a different situation. We get there earlier, rush better, and get them on the ground, so it's not an intentional grounding, right?
Yes. Now, you not being a rule maker, I got to also ask you about the roughing call here. To me, pretty tight. I think I would not have thrown the flag there. You are not known for roughing. You don't get called for them a ton. So what did you make of that call?
It's one of them plays, man. It's either you do or you don't. And I say that to say this, as I had one step on him, and that's the rule. You get one step.
Right.
The quarterback was throwing off of his foot. He was throwing in the air, and obviously he caught the impact of me coming to hit him.
And you get him in the shoulder first.
Absolutely.
But maybe the ref behind sees the head go back.
Well, it's probably just one of them things where maybe you may have hit the quarterback too hard.
Yes.
As 310 and 315 pound D lineman, it's hard for me to put on brakes for them full speed. And I play this game full speed the way it's supposed to be played. And I don't think I had a roughing the passer since like 2018. It's the last time I had a roughing the passer. I try to play
this is not a
the
reputation
right
call, yeah.
No, it's definitely not a reputation call, And the fact about it, the ref threw the flag so hard, he hit me with it.
Did he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Does that hurt? I mean, not in comparison to
it
what happens.
Yes, it hurts because I had a 15 on to the catch. I really didn't thought the guy caught the ball until I saw the ref going, and I'm like, man, he moved this a long 15 yards. And everybody like, no, he caught it. So I was like, all right, okay, well, my deal is next play. Let's go. Like, we got to make it happen.
Now, there were a few highlight plays for you in this game. One I want to ask you about is, let me first take you back. all the way to 2012 when you are going through the pre-draft process. You land in Philadelphia, and this is a throwback here because the two of us look much younger.
Look at that guy.
But you go to the combine,
Sexy.
and I move over Jason Kelce. People magazine is going to name these
I was
two.
growing a beard out. You know, I did have a Levi's shirt on, which Levi's was probably it was maybe in 2012, but who knows? To me, it was because I was wearing the shirt.
Two fashionable people right there is what I would say.
Absolutely.
Now, so you go to the combine. You are like 96th percentile in the 40-yard dash, 98th percentile in the three-cone drill. The vertical jump, like 13th percentile, but we saw those hops yesterday as you're jumping over the offensive line.
Let me say. I think a old defensive line coach, Jim Washburn, the guy that drafted me here,
Yep.
he said, I ain't worried about your vertical. So you ain't never got to jump up and down to sack the quarterback. And I was like, that's very true, coach. So why am I worried about my vertical?
Right.
I shouldn't be.
Right.
But last night,
11 years into your career, you finally needed to jump.
big man got up.
I thought that was pretty good. I mean, I didn't know you had those hops.
I didn't touch nobody. I cleared them.
Yeah.
And I was on side.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then the rookie, unfortunately,
I got to teach him. I got to teach him, I don't know his vert. Don't know, a lot of his numbers, but I got to teach him how to clear the lineman and be on sides.
It was beautiful.
I'll take that.
I think you guys can make a trade. You teach him that, and then maybe he can teach you the diving to try to intercept the spike move.
I think those days are past me. Those days are past me. I'm trying to dive under somebody. Mo back probably wouldn't hold up.
Okay.
I'll leave it up to him.
That was a heck of a play. He almost made it.
That was smart. And I was surprised he did it. And it's not, like I said, it's not a rule in the rule book.
Right. That's not a thing you guys have talked about in the room.
No, he did it on his own, trying to pick it off. And had that ball popped up a little bit more, there's probably been a big man pick. Who knows?
Well, even because there were 4 seconds left. So even if he just gets under it and doesn't pick it, the ball bounces up, the clock's going to run out. They don't get that field goal.
That's very true. Smart play by JC.
Very smart play. What about the mechanics of this week? One shorter day. What does that change about anything for you guys process wise?
Just got to attack the recovery part. We got to attack the recovery part, and Nick is really big on sleep. So there might probably be a couple of days where we come in a little later, try to catch up on it. Obviously, you lose. Honestly, you lose today. You kind of lose today, and it's one of them things where you can't just sleep all day because you want to sleep tonight, and we got to go in the building tomorrow. But you lose a day, you try to gain that day back, but you never get it back recovery wise. And for us, is we get in the building tomorrow, and it's right into a game plan. It's flushed at what we played yesterday, and move on because we got another really good football team coming into town on Sunday.
Yeah, the grind does not stop for you guys schedule wise. A couple other things from the game last night. I'm curious about Hassan Reddick is drawing back and forth with Travis Kelce, right? That's Jason's brother, but you're on the field. Everybody respects that stuff. I'm sure that it's the same thing for the Chiefs D line. They're talking smack to Jason after the game. Is it you come down and you're like, man, Jason, your brother was being an a-hole out there, or you guys have those conversations?
Nah, yeah, you never have those conversations. I mean, I think some of those conversations or arguments in the heat of a moment. I think Trav had a holding call, which it was a holding call.
Yes, it was.
So
and on that first drive, that looked like you were held, and then you did look, what's going on here, and you didn't get that.
The ref said it wasn't enough.
Really?
It's just one of them things you kind of play through it, and rather have the holding call or bring that whatever 30, whatever that game was for us. I got one later in the game that was very important.
Yes.
That kind of set them back. So it's just one of those things, You get the holding call, you get some, you don't. You respect it, you move on.
Do you on the pass to Marquez Valdez-Scantling at the end of the game? Are you able to was your head turned around to see that? Is your
once the
heart
ball went in there, yeah. But
listen,
Roby made a good play, and he was there, and Mahomes made a good throw, and he dropped the ball. So that's always in our favor.
A lot of plays in a football game that could have gone either way.
That could have gone either way. That wasn't the play that won and lost the game.
You feel like this was in terms of the complementary football? You guys talk about that, right? and there's a middle part of this game where the offense is sort of stuck in the mud a little bit, a bunch of 3-and-outs, and you guys are keeping this game within 10 points. What is sort of like the messaging on the sidelines? Like, we know that at some point, Devontae's going to have a big play or AJ's going to have a big play. We just sort of got to keep in this thing.
Stay calm and give our offense a chance to win. I think the more opportunities we give our offense a chance to get the ball back, the more chances they get to score. Obviously both defenses, kept their offenses in the game. It didn't get out of hand. When they made some plays, we made some plays. Both teams responded, but we just happened to respond more in the second half and gain that momentum late into the game, which hey, we're built to for always to try to find ways to win the game, and I think that's what's really kind of separating us. Finding ways to win.
Is that like part of the conversation in the locker room afterwards? Like, we're starting to believe that somebody at some point is going to be able to make those plays?
You have to, right? You got to look at the man next to you, left and right. You got to look at yourself, look at the coaches, and know that if you don't flinch, I won't flinch, and then we'll try to find a way. Does it always turns out to favor in our way? Who knows? But so far it's kind of been leading our way. We had a game early in the year where it didn't fall our way. Close game. We didn't close it out. But here lately we've been finding a way to win on the road.
And then did you have a moment with Big Red before or after the game?
Saw him after the game. Actually, it's funny. The one play I missed on the sideline, all I hear was "Good job, big boy," and I hear his voice. He said, "Good run right there," and he got his play call sheet and just kind of hit me on the back with it, and I was like, "Thanks, coach."
It's like a throwback. It takes you right back to 2012 again.
Thanks, coach. But I saw him after the game also, which is always much respect for him.
All right. Well, Fletch, we appreciate you making the effort today. Great insight as always. We look forward to talking to you next week. Good luck getting the body ready for a big game on Sunday against the Bills.
Yes, sir. Go
right.
Birds.
Appreciate it. Back with more on the PHLY Eagles podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.